Hey guys, Asher Command today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you all here with me today. A little bit of a different video. We're going to cover not one, but two champions in today's video. That's because, as I said on my main channel today, I have a new download link that I wanted to share with you guys, because whether you're a brand new Raid Shadow Legends player, checking out this video for the very first time, or whether you're looking to start a new account or returning player and just trying to start fresh, I have a really, really good one for you guys today. So the reason I say opening up another account is because of the referral program. I'm actually doing this myself, right? I'm doing this because I really want to get my hands on Jamarsa along with Chronum. So those are the two kind of not legendary. One's legendary, one's epic, but these are the friend referrals. And if you're like me and you don't have a lot of friends playing Raid Shadow Legends, well, what better way to do it than yourself with a new account? And what better thing to start you out on a brand new account than two of the better epic champions out there in the game? They're both kind of old school, especially one of them in Tayrel, but also Rector Drath. So I wanted to make this video to let you guys know about the bonuses. By the way, the download link will be in the pinned comment below, as well as the top line of the comment. It will send you to this landing page if you're on PC. It will say, congratulations, you've won a rare champion, War Maiden. And although War Maiden is great, it's not about the War Maiden promo code or anything like that. You just go ahead and sign up using a new email address if you're a returning player, and you'll get the Tayrel immediately. I have a screenshot of that. Tayrel, XP boost, an energy, an epic skill tome, and 200k silver. And then once you get to level 12 using that download link, you will get a Rector Drath. Rector Drath is a epic and one of my favorite epic revivers in the game, Knight's Revenant Reviver. So today, I wanted to go a step further than we did on the main channel and just talk about both of these champions. I'm also going to have a longer video guide on both of these champions linked in the description below. That way you can check out some builds for the end game. But first, what do these champions do and how can they help you out in the early game? Well, they're both going to help you out tremendously. Let's talk about Tayrel first. As I mentioned, Tayrel is an old school epic champion in this game. He's a defense-based champion, and he has an aura, ally defense in all battles by 25%, which you can use, well, everywhere. It's an all-battle aura, right? On his A1, he has a decreased attack. Each hit has a 50% chance when booked out of placing the decreased attack for 2 turns, which is nice. It's pretty dependable because you have that shot on both hit. If you get the Sniper Mastery, we can bring that up to 55% chance on both of the hits on the A1. On the A2, Singing Steel, an AoE attack, we have a 100% chance of placing a decreased defense on all enemies. That's the best kind of damage debuffing ability inside the game. That and Weaken, it's going to reduce their defense, obviously, by 60%, which is great. If the target's under a decreased attack, it will also place a sleep debuff on them. Again, he brings the decreased attack, the big version, on his first ability as well, Humble. That's going to be nice. It's not going to land all the time, sleep, but it's going to land, here and there, which is going to be helpful to you guys. And then Preemptive Strike, which is really his most underrated ability in his kit. Attacks one enemy, decreases their target's turn meter by 50%, half of their turn meter. If the turn meter is fully depleted, it's placing a stun for not 1, but 2 turns. It's a really, really nice control ability, towards the end game, against like a Dark Fae type, any boss that's susceptible, or any champion for that matter, to turn meter decrease. It's going to be fantastic. And you get the stun for 2 turns. Very, very valuable on a 4-turn cooldown. The only knock on this guy is that his AoE decreased defense is on a 4-turn cooldown. We're really looking for a 3-turn nowadays, but still, I'm being a little bit nitpicky here. He's certainly a champion that you can use pretty much everywhere. And the nice thing is he's tanky. Again, he's defense-based, not attack-based, which means we can stack him up with a bunch of defense, and he can take a hit, and he can deal more damage too, because his damage does scale, as it says, proportional to this champion's defense. So what are the stat priorities when we're building a Tayrel? Stat priorities certainly going to be accuracy. First and foremost, we need enough accuracy to land all these juicy debuffs. You also need accuracy in this game to decrease the target's turn meter as well. So every single one of his abilities is going to require that we have accuracy on Tayrel. How much accuracy is enough accuracy? Well, that depends on where you are in the game. If you're just starting out, we're looking for around 10 to 12 points of accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're fighting against, right? So in the beginning of the game, it's going to be pretty tough to get your hands on a lot of accuracy, but the good news is the requirements are pretty low to land your debuffs on the early game content. But if you go to the dungeons, if you start, farming up, Dragon's Lair, for example, and you're on normal difficulty, and you're on like stage 10, we're looking to try to get around 100 accuracy on our Tayrel. That's kind of a nice rule of thumb. Now, he's magic affinity, so you have to be careful of be careful of force affinity, the red affinity matchups. Otherwise, he might land a weak hit, and his debuffs may not land in those scenarios. So he's best against spirit, the green affinity, and other magic affinities, and void affinity, okay? Him being magic himself. So any other notes? The second priority on him is going to be getting some crit rate on there, right? Because he does have attack associated with his debuffs. So we want to try to build him with 100% crit rate. Want to try to have enough accuracy to land those debuffs. And also after that, we want to put on some speed and survivability on this champion. You can use him in the arena as kind of your arena debuffer to set up your Kale or your damage dealer. Right now we have Rathalos available to you guys as a free daily login champion, a loyalty champion as well. I think that's good for another couple of weeks. So perfect time to start the game right now as well. With Rathalos as kind of your nuker, right? It's a really nice trio there, Rector Drath, Tayrel, and Rathalos. Anyway, I digress. Back to Tayrel. Again, we're looking for defense, we're accuracy, crit rate, defense, and speed. We want speed on his boots. So let me just pull up my build on Tayrel, and then we'll move on to Rector Drath, right? So I hope I have gear on him. I have not checked, but we'll go ahead and review. All right, so I do. And again, this is not the best build in the world. It's probably like a good example of a mid-game build, right? We have one perception set, one speed set. But instead of focusing on exactly all the pieces of gear, let's focus on his total stats. He has plenty of accuracy, 427. That's more than enough for anywhere I'm going to be using him. And then we have speed, crit rate, and some survivability, exactly what I kind of focused on earlier. We want accuracy on his banner. We like crit damage is nice, but nothing wrong with going defense and HP, making sure he survives first and foremost on his amulet. And then we have defense on the ring. We're going to have speed on the boots. I think everybody watching is going to want to put speed, flat stat, on your boots on Tayrel. We have defense percentage on the chest, and we have crit rate on the gauntlets. Totally happy with this build. Look at that. We have him fully awakened as well. I didn't even realize that. We do have cruelty here as a blessing on him right now, which is fine. Masteries. This is what we went with for masteries. Let me push myself over here. Most importantly, we came down, we picked up War Master. This is a very basic mastery build here, nothing too crazy. We went crit rate, crit damage. We came down with War Master as our tier 6 mastery choice. We have support tree, we have some accuracy. We come down, get more accuracy, and then we end off with Master Hexer. I think Master Hexer is probably going to be the most important mastery on Tayrel to have a chance at extending the decreased defense specifically to 3 turns on his A2. That will help mitigate the fact that it's on a 4-turn cooldown. So there we go, guys. That's Tayrel, a pretty basic build there. Last up, I do want to show on big thanks to hellhades.com. They have Tayrel. Look at his rankings. You can use this dude pretty much everywhere. From Clan Boss, he's going to be great for Clan Boss for new accounts. Spider, Fire Knight, Dragon, Ice Golem. He's going to help you out in all the dungeons. In Doom Tower, he's useful against pretty much every boss, specifically Magma, Griffin, Frost Spider, even Dark Fae. I would give him a much higher score than this personally. In the arena, he's going to be a great debuffer for you guys, and he's nice and tanky too. He has a 3.5 multiplier on his A2, which can smack pretty hard, but then he has a 5.3 defense multiplier on his A3. So again, he can deal some sneaky damage from a debuffer, kind of a supporty type champion, but he's nice to have that damage there as well. In terms of masteries, they recommend something very similar that I did to you guys. You can see they end off with War Master and they go down the support tree. They go Life Drinker instead of Arcane Celerity. So, it's up to you guys ultimately. I prefer Arcane Celerity, but go with whatever you guys prefer. They recommend Cruelty, Commanding Presence, or Survival Instinct, depending on if you want to go debuffer or lead or tank. I think all of those are going to be great options to consider. Accuracy, speed, defense, crit rate, crit damage are going to be their stat priorities. And again, we agree with that. Last but not least, lifesteal, speed, accuracy, perception. Those are going to be the gear set recommendations. And I wholeheartedly agree with all of those. All right, let's take a look at Rector Drath. What does Rector Drath do? What doesn't she do? I really love Rector Drath. All right, so we had her in a curing set of all things. I ought to really fix this right now. Let's remove these boots, and let's go ahead and complete the curing set. Rector Drath, guys, is an unbelievable healer, damage mitigator, reviver, and support champion, all kind of rolled into one. There we go. We completed the curing set. 20% bonus heal also restores the amount of HP, destroyed HP, to bonus healing, which is nice as well. Now, Rector Drath does not have to be in a curing set, but frankly, there's not a ton of champions in the game that, you know, are decent or heal enough to justify a curing set. So I decided to put some of my better curing gear on Rector Drath. You can see kind of the remnants here of a shield set as on the chest, as well as a guardian set. So those are two other 4-piece set options for you guys. I personally would aim for maybe a shield set, especially in the early game in progression using a Rector Drath. So what does Rector Drath do? On the A1, we have a decreased attack, right? Very similar to Tayrel, a little bit less of a chance of landing because, well, there's only one hit on it, but still a nice ability to have on the Scepter of Authority. On the A2, Necro Mutation. I love the name of that ability. Heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. It's a great heal, guys, which again further justifies a shield set because we want to be scaling as much HP on this champion as possible. It's going to be one of the stat priorities on Rector Drath, right? But also, we can get a bolster set as we progress into the end game, or we take advantage of the Forge path. After healing, plays a Perfect Veil for 2 turns on all allies with full HP. Plays a continuous heal for 1 turn instead on allies with less than 100% HP. Continuous heal, if you're new to the game, is one of the more powerful healing abilities in the game, right? 15% continuous heal doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it is. It's a big difference maker, and the Perfect Veil is one of the best support buffs that we can give another champion, another ally inside the game. Perfect Veil is going to mitigate AoE damage by 15%. It's also going to allow the allies not to be able to be targeted with single target attacks, right? It's going to have to be an AoE. So it's really nice. It's a really good ability. Only a few champions in the game even have a Perfect Veil, especially when we talk about epic champions. And they're always on a 4-turn cooldown, Perfect Veils in the game. Spirit Form revives a single ally, 60% HP, fills their turn meter by 60%, and plays a Perfect Veil on them for 3 turns. What a great revival. 4-turn cooldown, which we look for a 4 or 3-turn cooldown on single target revives, 60% HP, 60% turn meter. Both of them are amazing. We want them to be able to stay alive after they're revived, right? And this gets that job done for sure. Perfect Veil, again, we talked about how strong that is, and it lasts for 3 turns on a revived ally. But it all comes together with the passive Master of Ghosts. Whenever an ally under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff gets a turn, heals them by 10% of the max HP. Also increases the resistance of allies under a Veil or Perfect Veil by 50. So a nice resistance buff with this Master of Ghosts, as well as resistance in Doom Tower battles as an aura by 55. It's not the best aura in the game, but you can be a nice parlay with the 50 that we get from the Master of Ghosts. And again, we're getting 105 extra resistance when we add the two together. I do have Commanding Presence on this champion to strengthen my team's aura. That's not going to be a difference maker for her specifically, but of course, it doesn't have to be her aura that we're strengthening. We can be strengthening anybody's aura. Let's go ahead and take a quick look before we look at the stat priorities. Let's see what hellhades.com has to say about her. Again, we see a lot of overall just progression utility with great scores pretty much everywhere across the board. Iron Twins, Doom Tower, Hydra, Spider, Dragon, Ice Golem, you you name it. Eternal Dragon, Frostbiter, Scarab King, all 4 stars or better, even in the arena. We don't really care about her multiplier. She's not a damage dealer. She does have a 4 attack on her A1. It's insignificant. In terms of masteries, this is the Healing and Revive Mastery recommendation. Again, shout out to hellhades.com. And then we have the War Master comp. This is going to be a more basic comp. Let me push myself over here. A more basic comp for you guys to consider if you just want her in general dungeon locations and areas like that, right? So let's see what they recommend for blessings. They have Miracle Heal, which is now Emergency Heal we have as well, and Heaven Cast. Stat priorities are going to be Speed, Immortal, Defense, Resist, Accuracy, and Perception. Of course, Accuracy and Perception are going to be nice for her to land that decrease attack on her A1 ability. Keep in mind, though, if you really don't need that decrease attack, that's really the only reason we need to build this champion for accuracy. So some players might, selectively forego building Rector Drath with a lot of accuracy and just relying on that somewhere else. In the arena, Bolster, Immunity, Immortal, and Stone Skin. We talked about the utility of Bolster on this champion. Again, Speed, Resistance, HP, and Defense percentage on this champion as well. So Masteries, what did I go with here? I went with the Healing and Support tree, right? So we went down the defense tree. We end with Cycle of Revenge, as well as Timely Intervention. Timely Intervention is great for healers, it's great for support, and it's great for revivers. Rector Drath is all 3 of those things in one, so a great mastery build out here that I really love personally, okay? We have all the Lay on Hands, the Healing Savior, the Merciful Aid, all the healing masteries, ending with Lasting Gifts. Lasting Gifts will extend the duration of a Perfect Veil. Isn't that crazy? Given how strong that buff is, will not extend block damage, unkillable, revive on death, or taunt, but again, it will work with that Perfect Veil that she's bringing to the table, as well as the continuous heal. So that is Rector Drath. In terms of gear I have on her, I have HP, I'm sure, on the ring. I have HP on the amulet. And that's right, I have HP on the banner. I have Speed on the boots. I have HP percentage on the chest. And I have HP percentage on the gauntlets. We're going all out on the HP on Rector Drath because of that heal based on her HP on the A2 ability. We can get a lot of healing between her passive and between that active heal on the A2. So 86k HP, obviously if you're just starting out, you're not going to get anywhere close to that, but the stat priorities remain the same. I have not a ton of accuracy on her. I'm not super concerned with the accuracy needed for the decreased attack unless I'm running her in a very specific team where I need her to be my main decreased attack option. For me, the rates of landing that decreased attack just aren't high enough to justify building her with a lot of accuracy and making that a priority. However, it's nice to have. It's a nice to have. It's not a mandatory, speaking of the decreased attack and accuracy in general on this champion. So I love the curing. I love all the healing masteries. She can just be a healing machine, especially with this passive. Keep in mind, we're healing them by 10% every turn. So she can be your main healer until you get like a Scylla the Drake, so you can even run them alongside each other as well. The last thing I'll note on Rector Drath that I love about her is that very high base speed, especially for an epic reviver and support champion at 109. She truly is a tremendous epic. I like her even a little bit more than Tayrel personally, but hey, either way, guys, I just wanted to kind of go over how we're building these champions because of the download link that I have for you guys, so you guys can take advantage of the best builds and make sure you're not, sleeping on accuracy if you need it, especially if you're a new player out there on like a Tayrel or HP, for example, on a Rector Drath. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you want to see more robust, kind of longer form guides on these 2 champions specifically, hey, what better time to check those out? I will have them linked in the show notes of today's video. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.